So in Hindu philosophy, there are 3 stages to really understand a text: Shravana, Manasa, and Nididhyasana. Shravana is listening. Manasa is thinking. And Nididhyasana is deep reflection, where you really get inside of a text and you meditate on it at length. We can only do one of those here. We can only listen. The deep reflection and the thought, that has to take place later. So I hope you'll take those words and think about them later, because they're rich words. And after we think, practice Nididhyasana on this one verse from the Gita. Then go back to the words of Paul and see if they have a different meaning. There is later in the Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, you have to make a decision. A decision to do nothing is still a decision to do nothing. If you are aware of oppression, violence, hunger, people who are starving, people who are in need of help and do nothing, that's still a choice to do nothing. It's another quote from Emmanuel Levinas, who was at the time incarcerated in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II as a Jew. He said, bear in mind where he is, the only evil in this world is the evil I do. The evil that is done to me is not evil. The only evil in this world is the evil I do. The point of this passage from the Bhagavad Gita is we only have control over our action, our oughts, what we should do. We don't have control over the results. That's up to God. But we have to do what we have to do. And we shouldn't be attached to doing nothing. So we have here this rich comparison, I think, between Paul and Arjuna. And like Paul, we have to prepare ourselves, not with the physical elements of war, not with a physical sword of steel, but a sword of the Spirit. And Paul goes a step further. Keep in mind, he's also in prison. And he says that we shouldn't defend ourselves physically at all. We shouldn't even take on a physical breastplate or belt or helmet or shoes or shield. But we should take on the breastplate of righteousness and the belt of truth and the helmet of faith. And we should plant our feet firmly in the shoes of the gospel of peace. I think Paul is talking about an internal struggle here, not some spiritual warfare or battle. Thus prepared, Paul marches on into the heart of the Roman Empire to stand up for what he believes in. Thus prepared, Arjuna marches on to the Dharmakshetra, the field of righteousness. Thus prepared with all of the knowledge that he has received from the Lord about listening to that still small voice, singing this divine song from the depths of our souls, about listening to what we ought to do, so that we ought to stand up for those who need it most. Thus prepared, to where will we march? To whom will we defend? For whom will we fight and defend? Thus prepared, what is our field of righteousness?